Crimson Trace's laser saddle is a feature-packed laser sighting solution for Mossberg 500, 590, and 590 Shockwave 12-gauge shotguns. Available as a red or green laser. Buy it now at crimsontrace.com.
He rode out of Louisiana territory, and with his gun slung low and his microphone held high, he brought truth to a savage land. And the legend grew. Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
I am so glad that you could be with us today. Tom Gresham here. It's Gun Talk. We're going to be talking about guns and shooting and sports and hunting and new guns, old guns, your guns, my guns. Yeah, we'll talk about politics as well. Pretty much everything is open for discussion. We keep it civil around here. If you're new, let me just explain to you. We don't shout you down. We don't cut you off. And you don't have to agree with me, heavens no. If you don't like guns, you got a problem with guns or gun owners, we'll move you to the front of the line. Give me a holler. We'll give you the floor for a little while. You can tell us why. I'll probably have some questions for you, but that's only fair. And you can ask me questions as well. If you'd like to be a part of this, 866-TALK-GUN is the number, or just call me at Tom, that's me, Tom Talk Gun. Also, a great big welcome and a thank you. Gun Talk is now being heard live in Denver on Freedom 93.7 and 760 AM. That's 93.7 on your AM dial. We thank the folks over there. Great station. And we're looking forward to hearing from some of the folks in Denver. A lot of things going on. A lot of things going on at the NRA we'll be talking about, have been talking about this past week in our newsletter. Just go to guntalk.com. You can sign up. It's free. Email newsletter. I call for the resignation or the retirement or simply go away, Wayne. Wayne LaPierre from the NRA, the executive vice president. It's time. You know, I got a call from another CEO. He says, you know, there's a lifespan at every CEO, and it's time for him or her to leave. And the time has come. It's just time. We get more into that in just a little bit. So many people, I think there's something on the order of 17 million people who have carry permits, licensed to carry guns for their own protection. Half the people getting their carry permits, at least we're told, are women these days. And then, of course, in a lot of other states, we have what's called constitutional carry, where no permit at all is required. And, of course, whenever things like that get passed, people say, well, blood will run in the streets. There'll be no training. How can you possibly allow this? When in point of fact, the bad guys, the ones who are the problems, have been carrying for years because they don't wait for a permit, do they? But honestly, the reality is the good guys and gals, the people who are carrying guns for their own protection, to protect themselves and their families, they're responsible. And one of the parts of that responsibility is there's another piece of equipment that I think you ought to have, and that is another form of protection. I want to bring in a friend of mine now. I've known Marty Hayes for a long time now. I've shot with him, been to his training academy out in Washington State, and also, of course, with the Firearms Academy of Seattle, but also the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network. Marty, welcome.
Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate you having me back on.
Tell them, why did you start this thing called the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network? What motivated you to do that?
Well, back in 2007, I had just finished law school, and instead of going to law school, I thought that maybe there was a better way to use my new legal education, and that was to help armed citizens across the country to be in a position to protect themselves against the legal ramifications of use of force and self-defense.
Now, before you went to law school, you were a police officer.
I was a police officer. In fact, I was a police officer while I was going to law school.
Oh.
That was burning the candle at both ends. But,
no kidding.
But I haven't been one now for about 10 years.
Okay, but so you got a background in law enforcement, then you have an education in the law, and then you see what happens when good people get involved in self-protection shootings, and it can be like they think the problem's over, and for them it can just be the start of a whole new set of problems.
Right. Jeff Cooper called it problem 2. You survive problem 1, that means that's the attack on your life. Then you have to survive problem 2, that's the legal attack on your liberties and your freedom.
And honestly, most of us, if we're not involved in the legal process, we're not cops or lawyers, we think, well, we did everything right, that should be enough. And I mean, I'm guilty of that, of thinking, look, I'm a good guy. People should be able to understand that I'm a good guy. I got attacked. I used my gun. I should be able to just explain it, and then it goes away. But that's really not the real world, is it?
No, it isn't. And that's because, your shooting self-defense incident may happen in a very kind of in a vacuum. Nobody else knows what's going on except you and the guy you shot. When the police show up, they see you with a smoking gun and somebody lying on your front porch dead, and they know that someone has committed a crime, either the dead guy or the guy that shot him. Now, the dead guy ain't talking, and so they know that it is illegal to kill another person, and so you have fulfilled the elements of the crime of murder. And in most states, if not all states, the police do not have to pursue the self-defense angle. They just know that you killed somebody. That's illegal. You're arrested. You get to prove at trial the fact that you killed the person in lawful self-defense.
So basically, you have to be able to justify it and get enough people on a jury to agree with you. And that is, and I guess, and that kind of gets us to where the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network is. It's, if I may, it's a bunch of people who got together and said, we're going to provide for our common defense because this can be incredibly expensive, and also most of us have no idea how to do it. Exactly.
I'd like to think that we're a union of armed citizens. And in fact, I wish I would have used that name too. Instead of Armed Citizen Legal Defense Network, it would have probably been a little bit clearer as to what we do.
Well, you know what? You're a cop. You're not a marketing guy. So, but you did come up with a great idea. One of the things I wanted to make people understand is that you don't automatically defend people if they shoot somebody and it's not what you'd call a good shoot or legal shoot or justifiable shoot. You retain the ability to say, no, we're not going to defend you on that one.
Yeah, in fact, I think even the term defending someone is the wrong term. We just simply help the member after an act of self-defense to be able to retain counsel. Basically, we provide money for the member to retain counsel and to provide for that legal defense if needed.
It's not, people say it's insurance. This isn't actually insurance, is it?
Yeah, we are one of the few, if not the only program in existence that is purely not insurance. There's no insurance component. We don't reimburse anybody, and we don't provide for payouts after you're acquitted. Our only goal, our only purpose is to provide the legal representation through money for you to defend yourself.
And also, you have access to legal experts, people who are knowledgeable in self-defense, the law of self-defense, who can help come in and say, because not all attorneys understand this. You may have picked an attorney who really doesn't know this stuff, and he or she may need some help.
Exactly, and we've got very, very skilled attorneys in deadly force law and self-defense law all throughout the country. And if your local attorney isn't one of those skilled attorneys, then it's very likely that we would provide the money for that outside attorney to come in and handle the trial for you.
Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network, the website is armedcitizensnetwork.org. And I would just say, Marty, remember, when you first got this thing started, I knew you. I'd been out to your place. I know Gila, I know your wife. Both of you are top firearms trainers, and I know the people you surround yourself with. And I just said, if you guys are doing this, here's my check, and I simply bought membership for myself and for my wife because I knew it was that important. So this is a deal when people say, well, what do you think of this? I say, well, I'll just tell you, I wrote my own check with my own money right up front as soon as I heard about it. I think it's that good. I also want to throw something in here for those who may not have seen the news that broke this week. NRA's Carry Guard program, insurance program, has folded and it no longer exists. And that was one that, frankly, we kind of knew was maybe not long for this world, even when they started it. It was a weird deal. And you guys have been around. How long have you been doing this now?
We started in January of 2008.
You're kidding. That long now?
That is that long. And you've been a member almost that whole time.
Yeah, I have. I didn't realize it had been 11 years now. 11 years. That's crazy. All right. So somebody signs. Well, first of all, people are saying, what's it cost?
$135 for the first year, $95 a year to renew, which is cheaper than pretty much any other legal program out there. And the only reason we run $135 for the first year is because we have a firm desire to educate our members, and so we put together 8 educational DVDs using some of the top people in the country, like Masada Ayub, John Farnham, Tom Givens, Manny Capel, not Manny, but James Fleming, one of our attorneys, a few others, including myself, to explain different aspects of the law, and so we had to recoup some of that expense. Sure.
Makes sense. And it's really good training. I would just encourage folks to take a look at it, consider it. It's protecting your financial assets. It's protecting, frankly, your ability to stay out of prison when you do everything right. Look, Marty, I mean, we both know there are people who did everything right on the self-defense side of things and still ended up going to jail because they had lousy representation.
Yeah, or no representation, or the public defender.
Yeah.
And understand something, Tom. Our program is so inexpensive that you can be a member of one of these other larger, more expensive programs and still sign up for us, and we'll still do exactly what we will do.
Oh,
and if it's one of these other programs, you don't want to leave them, but you like what I'm saying, sign up for us too. And we'll work with your other provider to make sure that you've got the best representation that we can provide for you.
Well, I think anybody who has a gun for self-defense, whether you carry it or just keep it in your home, needs to have some kind of program. I chose this one. I think it's that good because I like Marty. I know you guys. Thank you so much, Marty. I appreciate it, man.
You're very welcome. I now have to go back out and work with Masada Ayub on the range for his Mag 40 course.
Tell Mass hi for us that he's one of our favorites.
I will do that.
All right, take care. Yeah, it's armedcitizensnetwork.org. Great guys. All right, we're open lines. Like guns? Call me. Hate guns? Heck, give me a call. 866-TALK-GUN.
For 25 years, Crimson Trace has led the industry in laser and light technology and customer service. Now, Crimson Trace is proud to offer electronic sights and rifle scopes for tactical, target, and hunting applications, with the same Crimson Trace offer of free batteries for life on all products. The new rifle scope line is also backed by an unconditional lifetime warranty from the brand that you have trusted for over 2 decades. Find out more at crimsontrace.com.
Want great deals on guns, ammunition, and gear? Download the free Gundealio app today. With Gundealio, you can search for deals, listen to the Gun Talk podcast, watch gun videos, read gun news, and get notifications right to your phone about deals and special offers. Save money on the products you want from the companies you love. New deals, discounts, and rebates added daily. Gundealio, available for free in the App Store and Google Play.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. The time is now to band together. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime. Setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at timneytriggers.com.
Every once in a while, you got to do something that's just kind of dumb. I may be in the middle of doing that one. Oh, by the way, welcome back. I'm Tom Gresham. Show's called Gun Talk. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. Just dial Tom Talk Gun. We're pretty much open lines. If there's a gun you want to tell me about, you've been out doing some shooting, you're thinking about buying something new for self-defense, or for hunting, or for trapper skeet or sporting clays, that's all good. Let's talk about it. If you want to share a story about taking members of your family to the range, we love those. Looking at the calendar, it's latter part of July. You know what that means? That means hunting season's coming. Won't be here. It'll be here before you know it. Well, it'll be here before I know it for sure, because I'm busy. And also because I've been looking for a new rifle. Yes, I know I have rifles. But it's fun to look for something new. So I've been doing the search. I've been sharing the information, kind of the thought process, and kind of settled in on a 6.5 Creedmoor. It's a good caliber. It's a good medium caliber. I'm a huge fan of the 257 Roberts, an older caliber, but a good moderate caliber. Did you ever hear of somebody who walked into a car dealership to buy one thing, and then all of a sudden there's this unbelievably sexy sports car over there in the corner, and absolutely having no intention of driving away in a sports car, he, because it's never a woman who's this dumb, he drives off in a sports car. I think that's what just happened. I had no intention. I was all settled in. I was going moderate. I was going to go 6.5 Creedmoor. Mild recoil, easy to shoot, good ballistic coefficient, shoots a long way, does the job, good deer cartridge. No worries, right? And then she came along. A Ruger #1 with the most gorgeous stock. I mean, it just hurts your eyes to look at it. A stunning piece of wood. I put pictures of it up on Twitter. You can follow me there. I'm at Gun Talk. And in about a week or so, I'm going to go pick this thing up, which is fine. I mean, look, the Ruger #1 is one of the great firearm designs. It's a single-shot rifle. Puts the hunt back into hunting. But here's the thing. It's not in 6.5 Creedmoor. This one, it's in 257, and you know how much I love the 257s, right? But this is not the Roberts. This is in 257 Weatherby Magnum. I know. I had no intention of doing that. And look, I love the efficiency of the 257 Roberts, but I also appreciate the effectiveness of the 257 Weatherby, because it takes the same bullets and shoots them at 400 to 600 feet per second faster. Out of the 28-inch barrel, 28-inch barrel of the Ruger #1, it's a 1B, with the 80-grain Barnes TTSX all-copper bullet, 4,000 feet per second. I know, it has a little, the ballistic coefficient isn't as good, but you can hold on out to 400 yards. No dialing, no adjusting, just hold on, pull the trigger, sharpen your knife, go get your deer. So anyway, there it is. Sometimes logic falls to the wayside when you look over there and go, holy cow, would you look at that? Love the number one design, and then when you put stunning walnut on it, got my attention, that's for sure. Man, a whole lot of things going on. Let's see, line 3. Let's talk with Tina out of Minden, Louisiana. Hello, Tina, you're on Gun Talk.
Hi, how are you?
I am well. What's up?
Well, about 5 years ago, you gave me some very, very good advice. My husband and I were on a trip, and I called in, and you said, do not let your husband teach you how to shoot.
Yeah, I know. What happened?
Well, through that, I started searching around and found a series of videos that Il Ling Nu did with Ruger.
Right.
Her basic shooting tip videos, and I watched those and went and took an NRA basic pistol class and actually learned to shoot well from her videos, from practicing over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And then I went and took NRA pistol instructor, and so now I'm a pistol instructor doing women on target classes out at one of the wildlife and fishery ranges here in North Louisiana, and chief range safety officer. So I also volunteer out at that range as a chief range safety officer. So and it's all because of your advice.
So you were not a shooter, and I told you don't let your husband teach you to shoot. You watched Il Ling's videos. For those who don't know, Il Ling Nu, I think I was the person who put her on TV first. And just once I saw how good she was, I said, she's a star. She's that good.
She is.
And now you not only are a shooter, but you have become an instructor and a chief range safety officer.
Yes, and by the end of the year, I plan on being instructor for rifle and shotgun also. And
Holy cow.
I know.
Well,
and
congratulations.
Been so encouraging. She's actually become a friend, and texts me every now and then and encourages my adventure. And but it all started with you. It's all started with your advice. So.
Well, thank you. And the advice still holds. Ladies, don't let your husbands teach you how to shoot. Go find you a good instructor, but get away. And dads or husbands, forget it. You don't get to do this instruction. This is just not a place that you need to be. Tina, thank you so much, and congratulations on this incredible journey.
Thank you so much.
All right, you take care. That is terrific. Yeah, Il Ling Nu, gun sight instructor. She's done a lot of videos with Ruger, done a lot of stuff with us as well. By the way, check out our First Person Defender videos on YouTube. Just go look for Gun Talk Media on YouTube, First Person Defender, our series that takes regular people and we get them attacked. We'll be right back.
Honey, does this holster make me look fat?
The right answers to the tough questions on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
No, I'm not brave enough to wade into that one. Let me just tell you. Welcome back. 866 Talk Gun. I'm Tom Gresham. Show is Gun Talk. If you're new to listening to this, welcome. As you can tell, we just kind of shoot the breeze about guns and shooting sports and gun collecting. And sure, we'll throw politics into the mix as well if you have a question or a comment. I was going to say nothing's too dumb, but occasionally we get a dumb question, but that's okay too, because, it's the old deal of you don't know what you don't know. And that's okay. We all started somewhere. Some from, you say, okay, I don't know anything about this. What is this thing? One of the problems you have is that sometimes what you think you know is not true. Certainly the case if you get some of your information from the mainstream media, who would try to convince you that things that are called assault weapons are machine guns. No, they're just rifles. Same design we've been using for 100 years. Semi-automatic firearms, just like Teddy Roosevelt used. Nothing particularly special. Well, they look bad. They look evil. They look scary. Why should anybody have a gun that looks that scary? We can go into that if you want to. Let's see. Line 4. Gary's with us out of Bethany, Oklahoma. Hey, Gary, you're on Gun Talk.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Sure.
So I was wondering if you had heard anything about the case out of New York City at the transport ban.
Oh,
whether
yeah.
the Supreme Court is likely to decree it moot, or if if your sources have said what they're likely to do about that.
Right. Okay, well, let me back up. For those who don't know, there's a case in New York, lawsuit. New York City had a law that said if you are licensed to have your handgun in New York, you can't take it to a range outside New York. You can't actually take it outside of New York, which is bizarre. It's like, well, no, what do you mean? Well, their transport law says you can't take it out of the city. You can't even go to other parts of the state to go shooting. Well, they were sued by the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, and the city fought and fought and fought and fought, and then when it became clear that it was going to go to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court accepted the case. Then the city said, oh, okay, so we don't really want to have a precedent from the Supreme Court because we really want to get away with our infringements of the Second Amendment. So we're going to change the law. So they changed the law, and then they told the Supreme Court, see, nothing to see here. It's okay. And now it makes this whole thing moot. In other words, there's no reason for you to even accept the case. They're trying to make sure they don't get a precedent out of it. What I keep hearing is that the Supreme Court is very likely to say, oh, no. This sleight of hand thing you're trying to do, it's way too obvious, and we're going to go ahead and accept the case, and we're going to hear it anyway. But anybody who tries to make a living predicting what the Supreme Court is going to do is going to go broke. So we won't know until we know. But as soon as we know, Gary, I'll have the information here for you, okay? I appreciate your call. Ed's on line 2 out of Springfield, Mo. Hey, Ed. What happened here? I'm looking at this line here. What happened to your son?
Well, he's a survivor of Castle Doctrine. We fortunately, thank the Lord, we have Castle Doctrine in Missouri.
Okay.
And he had a guy that my son has some dogs. We live in town. He has dang near like fenced in his whole backyard with a top and everything because the police would come over and say, you can't just tie your dogs up in the front yard. So he's fenced all this in, and this guy who didn't even live in the neighborhood, he was like a homelessy kind of guy, and he would come by and throw rocks at the dogs, and everybody had video of it. He yelled at my son. And one day, my son was out there in the yard, and he said, just stay out of my yard. I have signs, stay out of my yard. And the guy started running at him. And this guy, my son's probably, 5'11", skinny twig. This guy's damn near 300 pounds. He's coming and running at him, and he runs in, and he goes, the first thing, when I'm falling in the house, I see the partner. I see the shotgun. So I just grabbed it to kind of pick myself up and, and thought if I just kind of waved it at him, he'd run away. And he didn't run away, and the guy basically ran up on the shotgun and took it right to the chest. And my son immediately laid down on the ground.
Wait. Hold on just a second here. This guy ended up running at your son, running into him, and your son ended up shooting him?
Yeah. Ran right up on the shot. My son is like,
right.
He's trying to...
Okay. I'm with you now.
And he immediately goes, I lay down on the ground. The guy's laying there right next to me. And I'm freaking out. I say, Mom, call the police. The police came and got him. They took the shotgun. They took everything. They took him in, and they said, Castle Doctrine. They let him go in 20 hours. He was out. It's been about a year now, and he finally got his boots and his shotgun back. He didn't get his shirt and his pants, but...
Well, that's small potatoes. They saved his life, and he was able to get through the legal process. The Castle Doctrine, also known as a stand your ground kind of a deal, but basically it says you can defend your home. You don't have. Here's the deal: the Castle Doctrine is basically this: you do not have to flee your home. You can stand and defend yourself in your home. That's essentially what it means for those who don't know. But more than that, what they're also saying, it's not just Castle Doctrine saying this is justifiable. If this guy is coming at you to hurt you, clearly with intention to hurt you, then you can't defend yourself. How old is your son?
He's 22 now. He was 21 when it happened. So yeah, it's been a year.
Yeah. Do you guys have you considered getting the kind of protection we were talking about earlier, some kind of legal protection, so you could help with the legal fees?
Yeah. I've always thought of that. I never really thought I'd have to do it for him, But
yeah, it's an interesting thought. Yeah, people, I hadn't thought about that, but people say, we got it for us, but do you have it for any member of your family who might have access to a firearm and be using a gun justifiably in self-defense? It's an interesting situation. I appreciate you sharing the story. I'm glad that your son survived and is okay. As I say, crazy shows up at the weirdest times. Evil is everywhere, and just because you think you are in a safe neighborhood or you don't go to those parts of town doesn't mean that something doesn't just pop up in front of you and you go, wow, I never expected that here. How many times have we heard that on the news? Well, I never expected that. This is a quiet part of town. Yeah, it is until it isn't. 866-TALK-GUN. We're open lines. If you want to talk about guns, shooting, self-protection, hunting, sporting clays, we're here. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk.
Introducing the all-new St. Victor from Springfield Armory. Our versatile line of battle-ready configurations designed for serious shooters and built on the rock-solid St. platform for unwavering reliability. Available in carbine-length rifle, SBR, and pistol configurations, each St. Victor is purpose-built and loaded with features to deliver ultimate performance under extreme conditions. The all-new St. Victor from Springfield Armory. Never a victim, always the victor.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
Want to win a gun? Hey, this is Ryan Gresham with Gun Talk. Visit guntalk.com/win to enter our latest giveaway. This month, enter to win one of 2 new guns from Sig Sauer, the P320 X5 Legion with 3 17-round magazines, or the P365 XL X Series with 2 12-round mags, both in 9mm. Enter now through August 2nd at guntalk.com/win. That's guntalk.com/win.
The next big thing for the AR-15 has arrived, the Brownells BRN 180 Upper, a modernized version of the Armalite AR-180, featuring a 16-inch barrel, a 223 wild chamber, and a full-length pick rail. The BRN 180 skips the buffer system to allow complete function of the firearm with a stock folded or extended. Best of all, the Brownells BRN 180 mounts to any mil-spec AR lower. Visit brownells.com today.
Okay, that was kind of fun. I was talking about this 257 Weatherby rifle that I'm buying. And of course, I've been doing my research on it, going online, doing searches. I use DuckDuckGo rather than Google. I don't want to be tracked any more than I have to be. But it's funny, I'm on the Wikipedia site about the 257 Weatherby Magnum cartridge, all the history about it. And I don't know why, I never do this, I just glance at the references. They list all these references, and number 5 in the references is the book Weatherby, the Man, the Gun, the Legend by Tom and Grits Gresham. Yeah, me and my dad. We wrote that book many years ago. It's kind of the source for a lot of information about the Weatherbys. It's just interesting that I'm researching, and then I end up finding out that I am the source of the research. I don't know, it just seems circular to me. Let's see, Jim's with us on line 3. I can't get this out right, out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Jim, what you looking for here?
Hello, Tom. Hey, sometime back you had a show that optics manufacturer was with you, and they talked about a reticle. As you change the power of the scope, it went from a lighted type, maybe a CQB type reticle, and changed to crosshairs.
Right.
And I'm interested in that. If you could let me know who that might have been.
That was SIG, Sig Sauer.
Right.
Yeah, they got into optics a few years ago, and they're doing all kind of really innovative stuff. And it's almost hard to explain it because I've never seen anything like it before. It's kind of like a big lighted circle in the scope when you have on low power, where you're going to be shooting fast. And then as you zoom in, I'm trying to remember this exactly, so cut me some slack if I get it a little bit wrong, but as you zoom in, the circle, that's kind of almost like the size of the whole scope that you're looking through, it gets smaller and smaller to give you a smaller aiming point, and then it changes to a crosshair when you get out to a more powerful, more magnification, where you need a finer aiming point, and it's all illuminated. It's just pretty cool. It's like you're going, man, those guys sat in a boardroom somewhere, or maybe they sat on the side of a mountain talking about this. But it's slick. I mean, you can see all the demonstration of it, I'm sure, on the SIG Optics website. I haven't gone over there, but I'm sure it's there.
I appreciate the direction. I'm interested in that scope, and I'll contact SIG.
Let me ask you, what rifle are you putting that on?
Oh, it's an AR platform, specifically for Oklahoma coyotes.
Okay.
Close range if they come in fast, and long range if I need it.
That makes sense. Now, do you do any calling of coyotes?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know sometimes you call, and before you know it, there's one out there at 10 yards. You're going, whoa, got to move fast. Or it may come out there and it's 250 yards.
Yeah, you can get them just charging in 6 at a time, or you can get one that's dawdling out there 300 yards.
Yep, exactly. So do me a favor, if you get this scope, after you've tried it, call me back and give us all a report on how it works for you.
I will.
Very cool. I appreciate it, Jim. Thank you for the call. Hey, Dell's down in Fresno, California, line 4. Hey, Dell, what's on your mind, sir?
Well, I have a suggestion. I think you ought to interview our sheriff here in Fresno County.
Yeah.
Out of the 120,000 CCW statewide, she's issued about 15,000 of them.
Yep. She has. Is that Mims?
She is a firm believer in the Second Amendment. Her name is Margaret Mims.
Yep.
She's a great sheriff.
Well, you know, the thing that she said that I like the most is because you're supposed to show good cause to get your carry permit. And some sheriffs use that to say, well, you know, you have to be carrying vast sums of money, or you have to have been threatened and all that. Sheriff Mims says, no, actually, personal protection is a good enough reason, and we think that's a good idea.
Yep. Yep.
I think it's terrific. I was just looking at the story about Sheriff Mims, and we're definitely going to try to get her on the show. I love the recommendation, but yeah, we're thinking about the same thing.
Supports ICE and Trump, so.
Very good. We're going to work on that. I appreciate that heads up on that. Thank you, sir. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I got to talk to Larry in Wasilla, Alaska. He's on one. 257 Weatherby. Larry, you familiar with him?
Yeah, Tom, I am. I've owned several Weatherby rifles in my day.
Yeah.
But I heard you talking about, you know, the Ruger #1, and you was talking about the 6.5, and I was thinking to myself, why doesn't he just go with the 257B? And then all of a sudden you brought that up. But, what I was going to say is, no, I don't have the Ruger #1.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Vanguard Series 2.
Okay. How long have you had 257 Weatherby rifles?
I've had that one probably a couple of years, just only a couple of years.
Okay.
But,
hey, Larry, I'm about to hit a hard break here. Could I get you to hold on for a second? Because I want to pick your brains about that cartridge, okay?
Okay, sure.
All right, don't go anywhere. I'm going to come back to you after this break here because, I've never owned a 257 Weatherby. I've had 3 257 Roberts, including the one that belonged to my mom way back many years ago. But this is cool. This thing is fast, and it's overbore like crazy. And the real cool rifle shooter so goes, oh, no, you can't get that. Way too overbore. Oh, yeah? Well, it shoots flat, and it hits hard. That was talking about this rifle that I found online, and I'm going to get it because it's gorgeous. It has beautiful wood stock, beautiful walnut, Ruger number 1. Single shot rifle. It's the 1B for those who know these. It has a 28-inch barrel. I'm all excited. And it's chambered for the 257 Weatherby Magnum cartridge. I've never owned that cartridge, but Larry has. He called in from Wasilla, Alaska, and he's starting to tell me about this. So, Larry, what's your experience with the 257 Weatherby?
Well, I'll tell you what, Tom. I wish I'd have had one 40 years ago. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, and I did a lot of whitetail hunting back there.
Uh-huh.
But I discovered the 257 here a couple of years ago, and I haven't experimented with a lot of different bullets because I tried the Barnes 100 grain TSX, not the TTSX, just the TSX.
Right.
And that thing shot so well that I really haven't had the need to, experiment with a lot of other bullets. But I can get 3-shot groups with it. Probably around a 1/4 inch.
And with that Barnes bullet, that 100 grain bullet, you're getting somewhere in the 3,500 to 3,600 feet per second range.
Yeah, I don't know whether I'm getting that because the Vanguards only come with a 24-inch barrel.
Okay, that would be a different. Yeah, you're probably looking at maybe 100, 150 feet per second less with that, but you're still looking at 3,400, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I wish I'd have discovered that round about 40 years ago. I mean, it's no recoil, and it hits like the hammer of Thor,
Let me ask you a question. That with that Barnes all copper bullet, that thing is going really fast. That's quite a lot to put on a bullet, especially if it impacts something inside of 200 yards. How's it holding up for you when you shoot an animal with it?
I never killed any game with it yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking about using it for moose this year.
I think it would work great on moose. I have a friend who's used the 257 Weatherby on elk for decades. And he's killed a lot of elk with a lot of different things. But he says that 257 Weatherby is the best elk cartridge he's ever shot. It doesn't kick that hard, and it just shoots flat, and it just does the job. I think you would find that to be a terrific elk, or in your case, a moose cartridge. I think you're going to like it a lot. I'm really looking forward to it. I appreciate it, Larry. Thank you for sharing your experience. It's cool to say, okay, I'm going to go a completely different direction. I thought I had it all figured out. I have always been a sucker for guns that have pretty wood. This will be really only the third one. I mean, I have one that I got from my dad, and it has a beautiful piece of walnut on it. But I have 3. One is Remington 700 in 257 Roberts. One is, believe it or not, a Dakota rifle with a gorgeous stock on it. And same deal. Bought it because it had the stunning wood and this beautiful rifle, and in a cartridge that I had no idea, no intention of buying. It was chambered in 4.58 Win Mag. I know, it makes no sense. And now I'm getting a 257 Weatherby, but it's cool because you get to experiment, you get to explore, you get to research, you get to try some new things, and that's all part of the process. Did you ever buy a gun that you really had no intention of buying? How did that happen? I'd love to hear the story. I can't be the only one that this has happened to, where you go, I'm not sure how I ended up with this, but here it is. When we come back, we'll be talking about some new guns. Well, your chance to tell me about some of your guns as well. Again, 866-TALK-GUN is the magic number here. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk. 866-TALK-GUN.